What's up, everybody? This is JM Hunter once again here with another update for our 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge. I believe this is update number 4, and so today I'm going to talk to you about what I've been working on, and I'm going to show off a few other things as well. Okay, so let's get to it. Sometimes you have to shift things up a little bit as far as can't always just work on the script or can always just keep working on pages, constantly working on pages. There's a lot of other moving parts to the process of making comics. For example, character design. So what I did was go ahead and work on my own character for my semi-autobio comic. And the reason why I did this was because a lot of things have changed since my old days when I used to do an autobio comic called Note to Self. I've gotten a lot more older, a lot more rounder, and so I wanted to go ahead and create some consistency with the character that I would be drawing often, I hope often, with that new shape that I'm currently sporting. So let me go over to the camera. So what we did was several different styles to see what I was comfortable with and just to try them out. And I like to engage my Facebook audience or Facebook friends and ask them what they think. On top of character designing and just coming up with an initial design for my character, I also went ahead and did something that I've always wanted to do, which was that cartoon style challenge. The cartoon style challenge basically is in which you would take several versions of animation or cartoons from old, new, popular, whichever, and you would draw yourself, the artist, in the style of those cartoons and those animations. So that's pretty much what I did. So if I zoom in on here, some of the attempts were a Simpsons version of Hunter, that's right here, supposedly Aeon Flux, DBZ, Dr. Seuss, Rick and Morty. This was supposed to be a Boondocks one, but it looks more like an Afro Samurai to me. Dr. Katz, the Oblongs, and in the back, my friend Jeremiah Lambert at Jeremiah Lambert Art was being a smart aleck and said Picasso. So, I went ahead and did Picasso. So essentially what we have here is more of a regular figure-based one. Oh, and Far Side down here. Okay. So we have a more traditional drawn character, not about 5 heads tall. Most of these were 5 heads tall right here in the front, and then I went to 4 heads tall, and then even less. And did a winter version with the hoodie because I often like to sport hoodies when it's cold or fall. And then we did the more summer here where I'm more comfortable with just cargo shorts and t-shirts. Just like comfort when it comes to my clothes. Because usually I'm drawing and making a mess anyways. So anything that I wear nice is going to get messy with art supplies usually. So it's not a good idea to wear expensive clothing. The beard is there. The head there, but more shaven than what I am now. And tattoos, got the tattoos in there. It was kind of fun drawing the tattoos on these different type of shapes and cartoons just to see what they would look like. Obviously, whatever ones I decide to go with, I might pick 3 out of these and do more tightened up versions, do more model sheets, turnarounds, where you've got the front, side, quarter view, back, and again, profile shots of the character. Again, why do we do this? What's the reasoning of doing this? It is to get to a comfort zone of being able to work on my comic and not have to worry about how is the character going to look in this frame. Once I've kind of gotten acquainted with the character, and that's any character for any comic that I'd be working on, I'd like to be able to just go ahead and work on telling the story as opposed to fussing so much as what the character's going to look like, and then having the character look so many different ways in different panels of the story that we're presenting to everyone else. So it's just to build consistency. I can't talk today. Comfort, to make myself feel more at ease as I'm creating. Speaking of the comic, we have gotten to the layout stage of the next strip. Okay, so I know that doesn't seem much. I got to redo the titles here because there's not enough room, so I'm on a space issue here. But yeah, so we got our first here, then we got this little staggering going on, and I'm gonna have fun with some of the shots that I've got planned for telling this story. it's going to be another experiment. As I've told you before, I do like doing art experiments. So, what I also have been doing is reading a lot of Carl Potts is the DC Comics Guide to Creating Comics. All right, so I know people tend to frown on how-to books. They feel like it's not really helpful, and a lot of it is just jargon and not the most useful information. But I like collecting how-to drawing books and cartooning books, and honestly, this book is really helpful. This book explains a lot of the in-between. Here, I'll go and give you the cover a little closer, of framing panels, shots, selection, as well as the 180-degree rule, which is basically if a character or sequence is moving left to right, right to left, you don't abruptly flip it unless it's for the intent of the story, unless it's a purpose for doing it. Otherwise, you want to kind of go with a certain flow, which is what I'm trying to do in that comic sequence I just showed you, which is going to be interesting with the panel layouts, so whether or not I can pull that off. So yeah, once again, Carl Potts. Carl Potts, if you don't know who Carl Potts is, he's basically the mentor to legendary artist Jim Lee, from X-Men, Wildstorm, his own company, Wildcats, Stormwatch, and then eventually went over, moved into DC, and now is in charge of DC. So Jim Lee has a lot of artwork inside here. It's mostly just the style guides from DC Comics. It looks like Jim Lee created all these style guides, and Carl Potts being his mentor, showing Jim Lee what to do when it came to laying out comics and drawing comics, as well as Carl Potts' claim to fame is the Punisher War Journal covers, I believe. He's been doing a few redos of those lately, so it's kind of cool to watch him still active. And I got to, meet him in person and purchase this at the Indiana Comic Con, and he even signed it. And he asked me to eventually contact him via email or whatever and let him know what I think about the book. Well, Carl, I'm still reading the book. I dig it. I think I'm going to go back to this book quite often as a resource. It's got really good, solid information here. It fills in a lot of gaps that I felt were missing from a lot of other books, or just when it comes to creating comics. There is a lot of information out there, and sometimes somebody will use terminology, and some of us self-taught artists may not really know what that terminology means, or unless somebody visually shows us, what they're talking about, we might go for a while just hearing this terminology, not really understanding what they mean by that. So it's really nice to have a guide that breaks some of that down. I'll flip through it real quick though, but yeah, you really want to check out the book itself. But a lot of nice illustrations and really clear information, not a bunch of jargon. Everything is broken down. These chapters are very small and they flow. You can read these, take your time with it and read it little by little. You get some artwork from other DC artists, legends, and everything. But yeah, I would recommend this book. I've told people lately that this is a good how-to book. It's a good not only is this a good book, I would that I'm suggesting, but Carl also makes references to Scott McCloud's books. If you're familiar with Scott McCloud, reinventing comics, making comics, and how to do comics. Scott's an authority on the subject, and as well as Framed Ink. Carl gives you references and links to other books that are also helpful when it comes to the atmosphere of making comics and storyboarding and scene selection. So again, the DC Comic Guide to Creating Comics, and by Carl Potts. Check this one out. So Carl, that's my recommendation. Thank you again. Also, what else we got going on here? You know what? Let's do. Who likes unboxings? Me and my kids, when we watch YouTube, we like to watch unboxings. I like watching unboxings as well as reactions. So I'm going to do a different type of unboxing here today. What I've got here in the mail is courtesy of Rick Bradford from Poop Sheet Foundation, or Poop Sheet Comics, where he basically, on his Patreon, has the ability for you to get delivered in the mail. I am messing up grammar all over the place, so just bear with me here. As far as get comics delivered to you in the mail, little mini comics. So if you're a fan of mini comics, you're a fan of the do-it-yourself model, I highly recommend you check out what Rick's got going on. Again, Poop Sheet Foundation, Rick Bradford, or Rico Bradford on Facebook, and sign up for his subscription. You can get these little surprises in the mail, and I never know what's coming in the mail. He probably announces what's coming on his Patreon. I just don't pay attention. I just kind of like, opening up and seeing what's in there. And the do-it-yourself model, to me, is in the spirit of the whole challenge that we're working on here. The 100-day comic making challenge, to me, is all of us underground, in the trenches, creating comics, working on our craft, and trying to get better at it, and trying to finish something. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we got in this one. Nice little package in here. Normally it's just a white envelope, but this is, I don't know, are we celebrating fall already? Is that what's going on here? Let me see if it smells like pumpkin spice. No, okay, just checking. Okay. All right, toss that aside. All right, so what we got is Alien Insects. That's pretty cool, little booklet. This is what mini comics, this is the size that mini comics really are. Also the folded over 8.5 by 11. Is that called digest? Well, let's see, who is the artist here? The artist is Adam Eater. Okay, Adam Eater is our artist. So, and if you want to check out the website I was talking about for Rick, check it out. It's right there. So, okay. All right, so cool. Nice little, color, thick. What is this, 80 pound? 80 pound cardstock. Really nice illustrations in here. So sometimes I get 2 or 3 books from Rick in these packages, and it's really cool. That's only for like $5 a month. Okay, so back to 100 days of making comics. So this is update number 4. I'm on day number, I have no idea. I started September 1st, so just do the math. And I pretty much record every 2-3 days just to give you an update. So next thing is to go ahead and pick a couple of those characters and work on the turnarounds. I might jump back to some scripting. So just keeping busy. As long as I'm working towards making this comic, then I don't stress too much about, well, I have to get all the script done first, and then I have to get the roughs done first, and then I have to get this done. Trying to work in a linear fashion. I'm normally OCD about that, but I'm trying to, that's a habit again, like I talked about in the last video that I'm trying to break, is breaking those habits and just being productive on all fronts, as well as just kind of going where the mojo is right there. So right now, laying out the panels and messing around with the character designs. Okay, so again, if you like this video, if you have any other questions or any other suggestions for cartoon styles that you want me to try drawing my character or any other characters I create, and throw them in the comments section, like the post, subscribe if you want to keep track of my progress as I'm trying to track my progress. So once again, JM Hunter, and I will see you.